these unprecedented times of violent crimes on the rise, it can be very difficult to talk to and explain to children about how to cope and better understand these incidents.
Yeah, not an easy conversation to have no matter how old or young
Right, your kids are.
Your kids are. So here to give us a better idea of how to approach your kids about this issue and others like it, CEO and Executive Director of Arrive Alive California, Angela Webb. Angela, thanks so much I know you have a lot of people probably wanting a lot of things from you when something like this happens, so certainly appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Definitely.
So let's talk about it right off the bat. You know, it's 6:30 in the evening, kids came home from school, and let's be honest, elementary school, middle school, high school, kids have phones. They know what was going on. So they get in the car or they get off the bus, and they have questions for mom and dad. How did this happen? I just can't imagine that there is a right answer to how did this happen, Mom?
Right? Exactly.
What is the right thing to say so as to make them feel safe and make them understand that their vulnerability is okay?
And want to go to school the next day.
Right, exactly. And you know what? Can we just pause for a moment and give the parents permission to process this?
Yeah.
How many of us hear this story and go right back to other events? Columbine, you know, Sandy Hook.
Right.
So we're dealing with some of these different issues as well. So then we compound it with our own children coming in wanting some peace and process, right? So parents, adults, you have permission to process this as well. And then take a moment to kind of step back and see where the bottom line is, where your child, what have they heard? Each child at different age groups are going to respond in a different way, and they're going to be able to understand in a different way. So kind of getting that baseline of what have you heard, and then process through that. But at the end of the day, our children want to feel safe. So giving them tools and allowing them to know how they are safe, whether it's at their home or it's at their own schools when they return on Monday, that is huge to their world, really. So starting there, understand where their baseline is, and then going into allowing them to talk. So many times as adults, we want to provide information to them. But instead of a lecture or a process through that, allow them to ask questions to you. And this is not a one conversation and we're done.
No.
This is a conversation we continue to have.
Is it okay for them to see you being a little bit freaked out and a little bit scared about it? You know, because you know in their mind. So, you know, I feel like a lot of parents think that they see their kids and want to think that they're a superhero and that nothing bothers me and no, I'm not scared.
They need to know
Of course not.
that you feel it.
Yeah, well, because it validates them, I would imagine, at some point, right?
Absolutely.
It validates their fear.
They do, and then they don't see mom and dad responding, right? So then they feel like they have to squash what they're feeling.
Right, like for some reason there's like an overreaction on their part.
Exactly,
right.
Instead of allowing them that vulnerability with yourself being vulnerable too. And that is comforting to your child to know we're going to get through this together.
Sure.
You know?
And then in watching the kids, everybody's not going to react to this the same way. So if somebody has some concern, one child may be tearful and moping, and one child may just be acting out or not acting like themselves. It may be very different.
Right, exactly. And you know what? The parents, you know your child the best. If they are exhibiting signs of acting out or even withdrawn, take note of that. There is an impact stage, but once that impact stage, if they are still not eating, they're not processing this the right way, then that is maybe a time for mental health intervention or healthcare provider to be contacted. There's so many things going on in our kids' world right now. Adding another thing could just impact them in such a severe way.
Well, and only parents know. You can have a 10-year-old that is really able to process something on a much higher level than another 10-year-old that's the exact same age, right? So I really feel like maybe it's up to the parents to sort of really stop and think, okay, the maturity level of my child, where are they right now where they're going to be able to compartmentalize this in the right place, where I'm not going to overwhelm them or underwhelm them, right? And give them the information where they feel like, oh, mom and dad, wow, they're being honest with me, right? I feel like I'm getting
Giving me the real deal and not sugarcoating what's going on because they think I can't take it. That's going to upset a child who is at that higher maturity level. Whereas you have to tailor that discussion for a younger child or a child that doesn't handle those things very well.
Exactly. You know your children, you know how they can handle, and that's where the bonus of allowing them to ask the questions. You provide the answers and the resources, but allow them to kind of direct the conversation. as the parent.
And interesting that one of the first things that you said is just instilling a sense of safety in the kids, right? Because we had just a moment to speak before the interview, and I appreciate that. But my family and I lived in Parkland, Florida when the Parkland shooting happened, and so I had 3 kids coming home from school that they were, all put on lockdown, and they all belong, the elementary school, middle school, and high school all together. So they were very aware of what was happening. And so when they asked me, they were like, well, are we safe? That was the number one question that they had for me is, are we safe? And then it was like, okay, Dad, so you're saying we're safe. How do you know we're safe? How do you know we're safe? I want the receipts.
Right.
Exactly, right? And so we were looking at pieces of video. We were looking at, this is where they caught him. Do you recognize that corner? This is right on the corner where we go to school every day. They knew where that was. And so it was like they needed some kind of a reference point where they could be like, guarantee me, I know you're telling me I'm safe, but that's what mommy and daddies do.
Right.
They're supposed to tell you that you're safe all the time.
Right.
I want you to show me that I'm safe. And I don't know that there is a complete easy answer for that.
There isn't an easy answer, but you can still provide a positive outcome of this conversation. Talking about the importance of safety. Why do we go through drills at school? What if you see something or someone on campus that should not be there? Going through all the empowerment for a child. Action and empowerment creates a level of safety when mom and dad aren't around. So taking them back, what can they do? And then focusing on the heroes of the story, bringing this in full circle, a very tragic and emotional day and event for all of us, but how can this relate to them and their safety going forward?
And parents might need to be on guard during this time for getting questions about other incidents. Unfortunately, in Sacramento, we've been through a mass shooting downtown on K Street. We also had a terrible situation at a local church where young siblings were killed, in a place that you also think of being very safe, which would be a church. So this could be a trigger to other situations, so parents need to have that in mind, that those issues may also come up.
Right. It's okay for mom and dad to take maybe a media break, if you will, and be very cognitive of them listening to the conversation you may be having with other adults. They're going to fill in the blanks of what they can't hear. So just being very aware of the conversations and what you are watching, because they are also soaking that all up.
And they're going to be looking. They always talk about, you kids get a cell phone, right? Monitor their cell phone, monitor their online activity and all that kind of stuff. So I know that with my kids and looking at our phones, I was like, well, I'm going to find out what you're looking at. And that's going to give me a better idea of what your questions are, right? And they were looking up things on their iPads like the history of shootings and things like that. They wanted more information and they wanted to know. And then they came to me and said, what do you know about this? Knowing what I do, what do you know about this? Connect the dots for me a little bit, and that was really interesting too, that they wanted, they were hungry for more information on it.
That is brilliant.
Maybe that's something that made them inside feel alone, sort of self-soothing a little bit.
We have the ghost phones at our home, and I am all for it. That is a privilege in our home for social media, but use that as a tool, whatever your tools you have, in addition to the verbal exercises and questions that they're giving, but what else that they may be asking behind the scenes as well.
And this is a situation where you would need to keep answering those questions. It's not like we're just talking about this today and you leave it. They need to know that that door is open if it's in a week, if it's in 2 weeks, because obviously this is going to be a story they may be walking past the television and see in a month. As more and more details come out about this and parents are reading the newspaper or looking at something on their own phone, so they need to know that they have that access point to come back even later and say, maybe I'm still scared.
And what about when school starts back up again?
Yes.
This could be tucked away in the back of their mind and brought back up at a later date. So for parents, don't be afraid of the questions and addressing it constantly. I love to address the white elephant in the room and make those hard conversations, normalize them in your home and have them over and over and over again. It's not a one and done.
And so what about maybe in a home, because I always say the ears are listening, ears, look at ears, they're always listening to everything that you say. So what if you're in a home where you sort of have an age spread among your kids? The younger one's going to be listening, the younger one's going to be listening to what you're telling the older one, probably more closely than what you told him or her, because they think you're going to be more mature with that. So is it okay to have those conversations together even though maybe there's an age gap, or is that sort of case-by-case basis?
I think it's case-by-case. I am a big fan of the categories of how children learn, the different stages and ages. I believe American Pediatrics Association says under 6, 1 sentence. That's about it. That's what they can take. Unless they have more questions, address them at that. Address them at their level. Talk to them at their level. And if it's a big family and everyone is used to having conversations around the dinner table, that's their norm. Give it to their norm. But if you have the different age groups, it's okay to, older ones with me, you know, younger ones, let's play. Let's color this out. You know, there's nothing wrong with color your emotions out.
Out your feelings,
Go out to the different levels and the different age groups.
Angela Webb, the CEO and Executive Director of Alive California.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking some time to talk about this today. I think this is, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are.
It's touching everybody.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to talk about. You know, it's not something that you want to talk about with your kids, but it's also, you're also giving them the tools, right, to navigate other things that are going to pop up in their life based upon the way that we talk to our kids about what's in front of us now.
And then it's okay to feel it. It's okay to process it. You don't have to hold it in or be afraid of what you're feeling.
Exactly.
You can tell somebody and you can keep talking through it.
Exactly. And don't forget to love your babies and kiss them goodnight. I tell you, life
Angela,
is precious.
thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for being with us tonight.